Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this file, and they originally said they had double lines, and they do. So we want to know how to get rid of that. But I'm more concerned, well, not concerned, but see how jagged this is? It's not perfect. And he sent me, thankfully, he sent me the PNG. And the PNG needs to be altered because of the fact that it's, they're not touching, and he's trying to make an ornament, so these pieces will just fall out. So we're going to use part of this, and then we're going to not use part of it. So it's already pretty small, so I'm going to trace the bitmap, outline, trace, clip art. It does a really nice job. I'm going to take it over here. And this man is connected, but this man's not connected. So we are going to go to group and ungroup it. And then I'm going to go left click, right click. I want this man, and I want this man. So what I can do is I'm going to set my nudge factor on, like, first of all, set your duplicate distance on 0, 0. You'll be a lot happier. This thing is only less than 3, so let's set our nudge factor on 3. And let's get the Smart Fill tool. Doesn't matter what color, and let's fill that in, move it over, fill that in, move it over, move it over, move it over. Now we can't move this man, but we can. So what we're going to do is take 2-point line. See, the man itself is pretty good. It's the cross and the circle that I don't like. And for most people, it would probably be fine, but it's going to look so much better. So I'm going to go from node to node and node to node. That's a little bit off, but it doesn't matter. Smart Fill that man. So now we've got our two people. And I'm going to left click, right click, and I'm going to, it's a really weird center of the page, or page size. I'm going to make it 12 by 12 right now. And I'm going to group these together, Control G, and I'm going to hit P and put that in the center of the page. Now I'm actually going to take this one and hit, whoop, I'd broken it apart. Let's just take this one and hit P and put it in the center of the page. And you can see it's not in the center per se because of the fact that we have, before I do anything, I'm going to group these two together, Control G. Look what it did. Look what it did to our man. But I don't really care. I just want, matter of fact, I can get rid of that. I want this cross and basically the first man about right there. Let's, this is where you're going to want to set your nudge factor on something lower, like 0.1 or 0.01, and grab that and move it over till you got it on top of that man, basically. Okay. Now we're going to do two things. We're going to make an ellipse. Probably the best thing to do is take your parallel dimension tool and measure from about right there to right there, and it's 2.4 inches. I'm going to draw an ellipse that is 2.4 inches, and I'm going to hit P, and of course it's not going to be in the center of the page, and that's because of the cross. So we're just going to put it on top of that, and we still got our nudge factor set pretty little. So I'm going to just kind of match it up. For the one I'm doing it for, take a little bit more time. I'm going to take our ellipse and Control D and make a duplicate. While holding down the Shift key, I'm going to bring in that ellipse. Okay. Now remember that we grouped the man together, and we can always move this out of the way. Now I'm just going to roughly get that cross. I'm going to, let me zoom in here. I'm going to start on that node and just kind of go down to that node. Then I'm going to take this node and go to that node. And I think we're good enough. So now what I'm going to do is try to grab the black. And I don't know that I have it, so I'm going to make my nudge factor 3. And I'm going to grab that and move it out of the way. Of course, I don't have it, but now I do. So I can move it the other way. Now, there's a lot of, you could weld a lot and do a lot here, but it's by the time you figure out what to weld, it's just easier to take the virtual segment delete key and delete these lines. Because then when we fill it in with the Smart Fill tool, it's not going to leak. And this is going to be joined. Now, we need to rectify this. So all we have to do, let's zoom in here and let's get a 2-point line and go along this man's leg and around his leg. And we're going to make them even. So I'm going to make the nudge factor like 0.1. I can grab that and move. 0.1 is too much. 0.05. And you're going to want to play with that. That's probably still too much. Let's go, have to click off of it. Let's go 0.04. Move that out of the way, move it over. Move that out of the way, move it over. And now what we're going to do, we're going to set our nudge factor back on 3. And we're going to go through here. Whoop, went too far. Now I'm going to use the Smart Fill tool. Well, I need to cut one more line, I see. Use the Smart Fill tool and fill that in. See what it did to that box? Now we can basically get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. Remember we grouped the man together, so we move him over. We don't have to delete all that. I'm going to go ahead and left click, right click. And all we have to do now is extenuate the body so it won't fall out. And because this top part is broken between these two pieces, we're going to need to do more than that. So this is a group. So we need to go to group and ungroup so we can manipulate the nodes. And, you could probably do this. I'm actually going to delete those 2 nodes. Well, maybe not. That's going to be your call. And then just kind of keep it on that same angle. I'm going to go ahead and do all this. Now that deformed the thing a little bit, but maybe that'll be fine. You can kind of play around with that. We could have, well, you know what? To keep it from deforming it, let's add some nodes right there. And now if we grab these 2 nodes, it shouldn't deform the person. And you can play around with that. And I'm just going past the line. It'll deformed a little bit there, but you can click off of it and click and kind of bring that up if you want. Play around with it, depending on how big this thing's going to be. And then just take your virtual statement delete key and swipe through there. This one, we're going to do just the hands, but we need to do his legs. And just, you could actually try holding down the control button, but I don't think it's going to help in this case. It did help a little bit. It's going to keep it perpendicular. Just try to get it near that line. One more set of hands and feet. I like this ornament. He already knows how to add the text. And I think we're done. Now you could do a lot, maybe take out some of these nodes. If they do not change the shape, you'd be better off without them. Now, if they change the shape, I wouldn't do them. Now, the good thing is he's not going to have any double line. We're going to take the Smart Fill tool. I'm going to go ahead and use black this time. And we're going to fill that in. And then let me get it off the page. And then when you left click, right click, make sure sometimes you have to click off of it. It is a hairline. I'd be a little bit careful putting the holder. That's going to be a little bit fragile, but you're going to know what you're going to put in there, because you could always add to this and it wouldn't really take anything away. So we're usually add a little holder. I'm holding down the control button to get a perfect one. And you were probably correct by putting it there. Now if you're worried about strength, and if you want it, if you want something in the center, take 2-point lines, go from there to there. That should be the center. And then when you grab this, it'll snap right to the center. Then you could delete these lines. Now, if you want it a little bit stronger there, which I might suggest, but it doesn't matter. It'll take away from the cross a little bit. Control D a little bit, or Control D to make a copy, and just do this. And then take this away here. And it added it's adding more strength. And I don't know that it takes away from it. Now, whenever you do something like that, you need to smart fill it again, because what that did when you left click, right click, see, well, you'll have these little lines if you didn't smart fill it. So this is all one piece. And then evidently you know how to do vertical text. I've got several videos on it, but you did a good job. Looks good. Anyway, I'll actually send you this file also, but please play around with it. I'll send you this one and play around with it. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching.